YouTube, hello. Welcome back to the Life and Suffering of Sir Brant, Chapter 4, Part 1. Two things really quick to mention before we get into it. The first one is if you made it this far into the series, please consider dropping a like or a subscribe. It really helps out the channel, especially as a small YouTube channel trying to grow. The second thing I want to mention is in the idea of saving my voice and trying to get this content out to you as fast as possible, I will be breaking up this portion into 1 hour segments. Simply because I looked at it and I don't know if it's true or not, but this part of the story seems to be drastically longer than the rest, like twice as long, and my throat can't hold out through a 5-hour read-through section. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna break it down into 1 hour sections, and I'm gonna try to get you each part every day. Like I want to get one segment out each day until we get through the entirety of Chapter 4 and possibly Chapter 5. Now, without wasting any more of you guys' time, let's get right back into the game, shall we? Youth, 19 years. Technically, we're getting into peacetime, so. The end of youth. The years of your youth have come to an end. The time has come to leave the capital behind and return to your family and new business in your hometown of Anazat. The years away from home were full of tumult and hardship. Your adult shoulders now bear the burden of your first life-changing decisions. Did you have the freedom to choose this lot for yourself, or was it your destiny all along, ever since your childhood years? All you can do now is follow the path that lies before you. Years of your youth are at an end. We saved Elise, the prostitute, but it didn't really lead to anything. We have promising diplomacy. We are a neophyte when it comes to theology. We are naive when it comes to manipulation. We are a dangerous enemy. We have clear speech, and we are conspirator. "20 years. Peacetime."
A full adult now, I returned from the capital a changed man. Yet, my hometown was not the same as I had left it. Fate had difficult times in store for all of us.
Chapter 4, Peacetime. The road back home. As the carriage wheels clack a steady rhythm over the cobblestones, you watch the land of Magra, rendered dry and desolate by ancient magic, sail by the window. You are back in your home province, but you are no longer the boy who left it by this very road 4 years ago. You return a nobleman and a judge. You are continuing the family trade. You have returned to serve at the province's prefecture. Your home, Anazat, is but a few hours away along this dusty road. The carriage is stuffy and hot from the sun, even with the thick blinders shut tight. It is a familiar heat, but you will now need to get used to it again. The heat weighs heavy on you, but it also reminds you of your childhood. You will see your family again soon. Pass the time before you return home. You read your father's most recent letter. Again and again, you carefully reread your father's uneasy words, steeling yourself for your first real job in the service that awaits. Robert Brant. Dear Davvon, I anxiously await your return, my son. You are the third judge in our bloodline, the pride of our family. Yet these are hard times for a judge. By the Emperor's decree, Archduke Tarquinius Melanides is no longer the overseer of Magra. The new overseer is the Emperor's own brother, Gaius Tempest, and now our province has been split by enmity and strife between the Archduke and the overseer. The nobles have split into two factions, and so too have the commoners. Some side with the Archduke, loyal to their liege and determined to follow the traditions of old. Yet many judges and officials are eager to side with Gaius Tempest as the new overseer. Compared to his brother Cornelius, he is less radical and more cautious, but he too seeks to transform the empire and bring the estates to peace. Yet other Archenians are outraged that Archduke Melanides has been deposed. One among them is Dorius Otten, High Commander of Magra. Although Otten and his men are sworn to serve Gaius Tempest and follow his orders, it is no secret that his loyalty remains with the Archduke. While Gaius and the Archduke are at odds, there has been no open confrontation. Yet, I fear their patience may one day run dry. As for the judges at the prefecture, every day we deal with more and more litigation between nobles and commoners, yet there are no imperial laws that clearly formalize the rights of all three estates. Wisdom, honor, conscience are every judge's best advisors these days. You made the right choice to serve the law, and you will have your work cut out for you. You will answer directly to Prefect Augustine Elborn, a long-standing friend of the family. He needs strong allies, now more than ever. With the support of people such as you and I, the prefects intend to alter the fate of our province. I am looking forward to seeing you back in Anazat, Davvon. You put the letter back in your pack. The walls of Anazat have finally emerged on the horizon. A challenging job at the prefecture awaits you, but first, you are going home. Okay, so the most important events that will end this chapter, only one of them will happen. Otten is sentenced. You convict Commander Otten in a court of law. Otten faces the court of honor. You force Commander Otten to face a noble court of honor for his misdeeds. The supporters of Archduke Melanidas take over the city. The rebellious citizens take control of Anazat. Or true death. Justice equals 10s. Career equal 10. Huh. Ennobled by the sword, the Brante family becomes a hereditary dynasty of nobles of the sword. Its status passes down from generation to generation. We almost have enough. We just need a reputation. Outcomes. These are possible outcomes. Favored by the overseer, Brante family becomes a hereditary dynasty of the sword, earning the favor of overseer Gaius Tempest and a place at court. You succeed your elder brother Stefan as the heir of the Brante family, or the Brante family is no more. Events that can happen to the Brante family of this chapter. A family of means becomes known throughout the city for its wealth. Mother recovers from her grave illness. Robert adopts Gloria and she becomes a full-fledged Brante. What do I need for that? Secret plot with Gloria and the family of peace. Okay. Branded by dishonor, the Brante name is dragged through the dirt, never to recover. You find a way to unite the Brante family and all the strife at home. I wonder if I could pull that one off. I think I have a good standing with everybody so far. Deeds that I can accomplish. Protector of the people. The people of Anazat know and praise you as the defender of the common people's rights. You earn the favor of someone very powerful indeed. You participate in the enigmatic ritual of a long-dead race. You ban the noble court of honor throughout Magra. And you now have the evidence you need to bring Dorius Otten to trial. Huh. The sections that open in this chapter. Occupation. Okay. Let's get into it. Begin! Year 1138. Peacetime, age 20. Homecoming. The carriage stops. The familiar gate. Your bedroom window. The same one you used to climb out of at night from time to time. The well-tended garden with its imported soil, delightful greenery, and mother's beloved violet irises. The porch you used to jump off when you were little. You are home. You touch the handle of the front door and halt for a moment. It has been 4 years since you left for Eterna, but it feels like yesterday. The air inside is cool, as usual. Father cannot stand a stuffy room and insists on constantly airing out the house. You hear hurried footsteps coming from the direction of Father's study. Before you have time to take off your traveling cloak, you are crushed in Stefan's strong embrace. Your brother has grown taller and more broad shoulders. When he detaches himself from you, you notice how harsh his features have become. He looks even more like grandfather now. Sorry about that. I about choked on my water there. Stefan Brante. You've grown so much older over the last 4 years, Davvon. Just look at you. You left a low-born boy, but you've come back Sir Brante. I'm so glad you joined us in the noble estate. You respond by giving your brother a wrapped gift. Stefan unwraps it carefully. When he sees the sword, a boyish smile appears on his stern face. Stefan Brant, it's beautiful. What a wonderful gift, brother. Maybe I should start a collection. What do you think? Robert Brant, there's no hurry, Stefan. And now let me have a look at the Prefecture's new judge. Father approaches you, his hand extended. You shake it and wrap your arms around him. Father looks older. His back is hunched and he squints. There are deep lines around his mouth and silver threads in his dark hair and mustache. Taking a step back, Father examines you from head to toe. Robert Brant, what fine posture. You had excellent teachers. I'm so proud you made it, son. Mother comes out of the living room, leaning on Nathan's arm. You immediately see signs of the illness you had read about it in the letters from home. Her back is bent, her hair is gray, a thin web of wrinkles cover her face, and her complexion has lost its color. She can barely stand unassisted. Nathan leads Mother to you. Slowly, very delicately, she embraces you. You press your face into her shoulder, breathing in the nearly forgotten, dearly beloved smell. Mother holds your shoulders and studies your face for a long time. Lydia Brant, you've been away so long, son. Now how you've grown. A short while ago, I was cradling you in my arms. You look so much like your father when he was your age, Sir Davvon Brant. Nathan approaches you next. Your younger brother is now as tall as you are, and his hair almost reaches his shoulders, but he still has that same lost look in his eye he had when he was a boy. Stefan Brant, and here's your never-do-well little brother. He hasn't changed or grown an inch after all this time. He couldn't get into the seminary, so he just hangs around. Nathan lets out a heavy sigh and awkwardly puts his arms around you. Nathan Brant, I'm glad to see you back, Davvon. Home just hasn't been the same without you. You hear a snort behind you. Everyone turns. At the top of the stairs stands Gloria, her arms across her chest. She's dressed as a man in culottes and a frock coat and a necktie with a massive pin. The entire family waits for her to greet you. Stefan shakes his head disapprovingly. Your sister descends as if forcing you to do it. A few steps away from you, Gloria stops and bows. Gloria, welcome to your home, Sir Brant. Your sister looks thinner and leaner than she used to. She has dark circles under her eyes, as though she has been sleeping too little or crying too much. Stefan Brant, enough pleasantries. Come on in. The table is set. Lydia has prepared a veritable feast for you. For the first time in years, the entire family is together. You can finally spend some time with another member of your family today. Ask Nathan some questions or support Gloria. We're gonna support Gloria. I feel like there's some animosity there. At the table, you try to ask Gloria about her life, but your sister dodges your questions. Gloria, I live, I suffer. I help around the house. I know my place, just like a lowborn girl is supposed to. Stefan Brant, then keep quiet, Gloria. Your brother doesn't care about the affairs of commoners anymore. Instead, why don't you tell us of what you've made any useful acquaintances, Davvon? Your family would benefit from some good connections right now. You have to relate the 4 years you spent in Eterna. Only later that night, when the family is getting ready for bed, do you manage to have a conversation with your sister by the smoldering fireplace. You assure Gloria that your noble title will not come between you. She is still your sister. Gloria casts a wary glance at you. Gloria, so your sword and title haven't changed you after all? Giving into your feelings at last, Gloria buries her face in your shoulder. You caress your sister's disheveled locks. Gloria, I really hope you'll always be my brother, Davvon. Mother, Nathan, and I, we all seem to be unwanted in this house. Sir Robert spends all his time at work, so Stefan has been running the household. It's taken a heavy toll on Mother. I can see her losing her will to live. You know, at her age, she might pass away forever and not be reborn. She had to endure a lot before she met Sir Robert, and her illness is consuming her. All Stefan cares about is getting the family ennobled by the sword. He'd sacrifice anyone for it. I'm worried the first thing he's going to do is drive me out of the house so I won't taint the Brante family name with my origins. I'm just an obstacle to him, a hindrance. You know, Davvon, I'm not sure how much longer I can tolerate this injustice. Times are changing. If I'm lowborn, that doesn't mean I'm going to serve the nobles until my true death. All over the Empire, commoners are fighting for their rights. Gloria suddenly cuts herself short. For a long time, you sit in silence, listening to the crackling fireplace. The Brante family is about to face some challenging times. -1 relationship with Steph and Brante. +1 with Gloria. That's gonna be, we're gonna have to, like, balance those two. First day of service. Your service as a judge begins today. You get dressed early in the morning, donning a brand new jacket with a cravat and hat. It's an immaculate look, if you dare say so yourself. You head to the Prefecture with Father. The Prefecture moved recently. It now occupies a massive new building in white, a sandstone in the very center of Anazat. A stone statue looms above it, the sword of the younger twin, the divine law that directs worldly judgment. All legal disputes in the province are to be resolved here. You and Father walk up the marble stairs past the commoners, merchants, and lesser nobles. All petitioners, that's not what they said at all. All petitioners and litigants huddled by the pillars. Robert Brante. Well now, my son, here you shall begin your service to the Empire, in the midst of the great struggle I told you about. If you don't mind a little advice, you will serve under Sir Elborn. Follow my example and stay close to your superior. He is a human of great worth and practically your relative. You walk past the courtroom and up to the second floor, where judges work in their offices and receive petitioners. The corridors are many and narrow, filled with the smell of old papers and the sounds of muffled, mumbling voices and secretaries, and guards running to and fro. Father guides you down a corridor that ends with the door to Sir Elborn's office. Robert Brante. Davvon, it is time for you to stand before the prefect. Remember the friendship between our families. You knock and enter. The spacious, oak-paneled office is not without decoration, yet its adornments are tasteful and elegant rather than garish. The flag of Magra bearing the silver tree hangs on the wall. Behind an imposing desk sits Baron Augustine Elborn, surrounded by papers. His face wears a focused expression you recall from his visits in the past, although it is more wrinkled than you remember. He looks up and his face comes to life. He rises and extends a hand to you. Augustine Elborn. Why, young Davvon Brante, what a pleasure it is to see you again. I see your years at the capital have turned you into a stately young man. I was told you proved yourself quite capable at the college. The city of Anazat needs worthy judges who know their craft now more than ever. Allow me to welcome you into service for the good of the Empire. I'm sure you already know the basics of judicial work. Serving at the Prefecture, however, takes more than finding your way through our laws, although they are quite labyrinth and contradictory. There's no denying that. Everywhere you look and anywhere you look in our province, you will see friction between the estates. Old noble blood, new nobles, rich commoners, poor commoners, they all have their legal disputes. And we judges work here to make sure the pot never ever boils over. If we are too eager to follow the traditions of old and bow to noble privilege, the common estate will grow desperate and lose all hope for freedom. But if we openly side with the commoners, the noble's eye will be quick to find us. And so, Judge Brante, I ask you to be wary and wise. Peace hangs by a thread in this province. Carefully consider every decision and make a court before rendering your verdict. But first, you need to get accustomed to your new position. You shall begin at once. The Prefecture has already assigned you a number of legal proceedings to review and judge. Your office is ready and waiting for you, Sir Brante. The instructions are over. The work begins. You recognize your new office by the brass plate on the door reading Sir Davvon Brante, Judge. You find it rather cramped on the inside, yet reasonably comfortable. The sturdy desk has all the stationery you need. Behind the desk is a large chair of carved wood, and in front of it are several smaller chairs for petitioners. Heavy curtains hang over the window, worthy opponents for the morning light trying to shine through. There are papers on the desk already, including instructions, orders, rulings, and all sorts of other prefecture paperwork. You're about to begin when you hear a sudden knock at the door. The source of the disturbance turns out to be a stout, smartly dressed nobleman. He greets you with an elegant bow you would not have expected from such a sizable individual. Carlo Fakagraben. 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 Fakagraben? Fakagraben. We'll go Carlo Fakagraben because that sounds the funniest. Sir Brante, congratulations on your first day of service. Allow me to introduce myself, Judge Carlo Fakagraben. Wait, Fakagraben. I'm sorry, a humble servant to the law like yourself. It is my hope that we will become fast friends. And now, if I may, a word of warning to help you work progress smoothly as a token of our future friendship. I am aware that Sir Elborn is your immediate superior. As a loyal servant of the Empire, you will of course take his word as your guide. Yet there is no reason to neglect all the other judges at the Prefecture, all of whom are noble men of great worth. Their guidance will certainly aid you as a judge. It will be my pleasure, Sir Brante, to facilitate your introduction to the noble judges of the Prefecture as soon as possible. I see Gloria in your future service to the Empire, yet it certainly cannot hurt to receive reassurance and support you when you need it most. I shall not detain you any longer, but if you wish to make some valuable connections, my office is right across from your own. Another elegant bow from Judge Fakagraben, and the door closes. You alone at your desk once again. The scorching sun is rising over the province behind the window. Today is an important day, the day when you're to take your first steps in your new profession. What will you focus on today? We prepare to deal with our first cases. Take Lord Fakagraben up on his offer, make several useful acquaintances among the judges of the Prefecture. You go to Father to get an inside look as Prefecture affairs and see where he stands himself. I'm actually going to go make acquaintances with the judges. I will need contacts and relations within the nobles to use to my own will in the future. We're going to Game of Thrones this. That and saying Fakagraben's kind of funny. First day of service. Sir Fakagraben's offer seems rather reasonable now that you think about it. You dedicate some time to the cases and necessary paperwork, then shift the case folders aside and walk to the offices across from yours. Judge Fakagraben greets you warmly. Carlo Fakagraben. Sir Brante, how splendid of you to stop by. Come, let us pay a few visits to the most distinguished of your colleagues. I'm sure they will be delighted to make the acquaintance of such a promising young man. With that, Fakagraben leads you through the corridors of the Prefecture. As you walk down the hall, he starts mentioning other judges by name and origin, age and experience, power and influence. You stop by a number of other judges' offices. Hours pass in dignified greetings, bowings, pats on the shoulders, courteous conversation. One after another, the judges make it quite clear to you that when a noble and a commoner clash in the courtroom, the court is to side with the noble every time, no matter how affluent the commoner may be. Only when both parties hail from the common estate may a judge fully rely upon the rule of law. Before you know it, your first day at the Prefecture is over. I wonder if I can use that information to my own use. How corrupted the noble side is. Carlo Fakagraben. Just look at how much you've accomplished in just one day, Brante. So many experienced judges, and you've made a splendid impression on all of them. Your future is all but assured now. I guarantee it. But remember, courteous words are not the only thing that matters at the Prefecture. Your decisions will not go unnoticed. Davvon, my friend, I greatly hope your youthful exuberance will not result in any gasps that might hinder our mutual effort at maintaining order in our province. Act with wisdom in mind, especially when the wisdom of your colleagues is always within reach. You say farewell to the elegant, affable judge and walk to the carriage outside waiting to take you home. With so many useful acquaintances made at the Prefecture that today, your career will surely prosper. However, there's a burden of expectation upon you. They want you to follow the line and side with noble privilege without a second thought. However, the conflict between the noble and common estates is growing tenser by the day. It will only become harder to uphold the law in the future. Began service at the Prefecture. You started your service at the Prefecture of Magra. A reception at the Brante residence. You come back home after a short stroll through the city. As soon as you set foot in the house, you are greeted by Stefan, who invites you to have a talk in Father's office. When you enter the room, Father has a heap of letters in front of him and is signing them one after another. Robert Brante. Son, Stefan and I must discuss an important matter with you. While you were in the capital, our family formally petitioned the overseer to grant us the nobility of the sword. We are 3 generations of noble blood already. We have the right to make our nobility hereditary. Your grandfather took the first steps towards nobility of the sword as soon as Stefan was born, and now we are on the brink of becoming the Brants. If Overseer Gaius Tempest and the nobles of the province deem us worthy, we will receive the hereditary title. All nobles of the Brant family will remain noble forever, as will their descendants. Stefan Brant. Father and I do our utmost to maintain the family's position, but our goal can be reached only if our reputation remains unblemished in the eyes of high society. The nobility is watching our every step. Father lays a hand on your shoulder. Robert Brant. Now this is your cause too. The future of our family depends on it. We need an estimable reputation and wealth. Everyone bearing the name of Brant affects it. Remember that with every action you take, Davvon. Stefan Brant. You'll have to appear before Anazon High Society. We're going to host a reception for the nobility at our home soon. You must uphold the honor of our family, brother. You'll relate the news from Eterna to our guests and present yourself in a favorable light. With Stefan at the helm, the entire family spends a full week preparing for the majestic reception. The house is flooded with decorations and new tableware. Delicacies are cooking in the kitchen, round the clock, and the napkins now bear an embroidered oak branch and arms, the Brant family crest. Gloria is the only one to neglect the common cause. Gloria. Were it up to me, I wouldn't be seen at this hypocritical gathering, but I don't want to let Sir Robert down. He's the only reason I plan to stay for the event. The evening of the reception has come. Dignified conversations and clinking of glasses fill the house. Among your guests are many highborn, powerful people. Your father and Stefan dance from guest to guest, making sure no one is overlooked. Augustine Elborn. Young Davvon, how splendid to see you. So what was your time in the capital like? You exchange pleasantries with a high-placed relative. Meanwhile, Gloria and Mother spend the evening on a settee by the wall without drawing any attention. Neither your father nor your elder brother introduced them to the noble guests. Still, one of the guests, a noble young man of the sword named Jose L. Pelletier, keeps staring at Gloria in fascination. Your sister averts her eyes, bemused. Jose L. Pelletier. Lady Gloria, you're the true gem of the evening. You look so marvelously daring. I haven't seen your like even in the capital. When you walk past Gloria, you hear her hurried whisper. Gloria. Davvon, please talk to me. The Sir L. Pelletier keeps following me. I feel uneasy. What does he want from me? I'm just a lowly commoner. Come with me to the other side of the room. Although I'll probably still stand out among these refined nobles. Look, it's Durante the painter. I wonder what's brought him so far from the capital. It would be fabulous if he could paint our family portrait. We should all be on canvas together. We're one big happy family after all. Wine glass in hand, you cast a look across the crowded room. It is time to choose how you will spend the evening. Present your mother and sister. Share the news from the capital. My diplomacy is above 10, so I can do that. Purchase a family portrait. Shoot, my manipulation is not high enough. Talk about your victory in the tournaments. I wish I could purchase the family portrait. If that would be my choice if I could do it. I can't lose all my affection with Gloria by not doing that. No. We're gonna present our sister. Mother? Sister, yes. Mother has accepted her lot in life. Our sister is ready to break out of it. We are the same mindset here. I'm curious to see what happens. You take your mother and sister by the arm and lead them to the middle of the room. You ask if you can give everyone's attention for a moment in order to present the hostess of the evening. May I present Lydia Brant, wife of Sir Robert, and their daughter Gloria. The guests avert their gaze in confusion. Mother bows with difficulty in response, while Gloria supports her by her shoulders. Lydia Brant. My esteemed guests, it is a great honor for us to have you in our home. Although we are not all of noble descent, the Brant family will always strive to give you the welcome you deserve. Father, dumbfounded, walks up to Mother and takes her hand. You order the musicians to start playing. Father has no choice but to dance with his wife. The guests whisper disdainfully to one another, but maintain decorum and join the dance. Stefan, furious, rushes up to you. How dare you, says Stefan Brant. You are not a child anymore, Davvon. Why draw the nobility's attention to the fact that we still have all these commoners in our family? You retort that this is what the Brants are. If Stefan is so concerned about his family, he has to acknowledge the existence of Lydia, Gloria, and Nathan, not try to conceal them from the rest of the world. With an aggrieved air, Stefan rejoins the guests. Your parents keep dancing slowly. The illness has taken Mother's former grace, but Father carefully holds her, as if carrying her along with him. Gloria watches him, mesmerized. Gloria, that took a lot of courage, Davvon. Let everyone see that our family is more than our title and position. We're people, too. Father and Mother finally finish the dance and come back to you. Mother gives you and Gloria a gentle hug. Lydia Brant. That was a wonderful idea, son. My legs aren't what they used to be, but it's been so long since I danced with Robert. The night is over. After the guests leave, you discuss the future of the family along into the night. Stefan Brant, -1. Okay, so we got to do something to get Stefan Brant's relation back to a +4. I wanted to reach 4. Unity +10. Harmony. The reputation. We are disgraced. Willpower +5. We're prepared for anything. All right, so we have the ability to make some smart and very important decisions now. A rock and a hard place. The Brant home has been easy for several months now. With Father traveling all over the province for his judicial duties, the animosity between Stefan and Gloria has grown into a full-blown feud. Your elder brother tries to use his position as heir to keep his sister in check and make her behave in accordance with their estate. Gloria repudiates his authority. Their fights rock the house on a daily basis. Eventually, after returning from his latest trip, Father gathers Stefan, Gloria, Nathan, and you in his office. His somber look pretends a difficult conversation. Stefan gazes at his father defiantly. Gloria is poised to lash out and run away. Nathan quietly keeps to the side. Robert Brant. Children, for a long time now, our family has been striving to become nobles of the sword. Every noble member of the Brant family will gain a hereditary title. This is your grandfather's dying wish. Gloria sighs loudly. Gloria. Then why am I here, Sir Robert? Stefan Brant. She's right. This is a Brant matter. Robert Brant. Wait until I finish, Stefan. I'm still the head of this household. If you are truly so concerned about your honor, show your father some respect. It can't be helped. Not all of us are noble, but now we must be united as never before. We must work together to protect the reputation and wealth of this family. But you, Stefan, perpetually humiliate Gloria. Stefan Brant. Father, all I'm trying to do is put her in a place. You know perfectly well the consequences of any attention Gloria might attract. Our every step is being observed. The nobles will make pariahs of our family for all eternity if they remember Gloria's filthy origins and your reckless marriage to Lydia. Father turns red in the face, but with considerable effort he remains composed. Robert Brant. That is so. Stefan Brant. Our grandfather did everything in his power to remedy your mistakes. Please, Father, don't repeat them. Gloria speaks up. Gloria. I'm just trying to live, Sir Robert, but Stefan wants to lock me in a cage so nobody will ever lay eyes on me. Stefan Brant. That is not all. You are lordborn, but you don't live by your lot. You do whatever takes your fancy. You're constantly grumbling about the orders of things. Did you know, Father, that she defies all prohibitions by continuing to write poetry? Gloria. As far as you're concerned, anyone who contradicts you is an insurgent. Stefan Brant. When will you grasp the idea that you may not argue with a nobleman? I am the heir of this family, and my word is your law. Purple with rage, Father slams his fist into the table. It is rare to see him so furious. Both your elder brother and your sister instantly fall silent. Frightened, Nathan shrinks into a corner. Robert Brant. Hold your tongues, both of you. Let Davvon speak. He has witnessed your quarrels. He should know best of which of you is in the right. Well, we either side with Stefan, must stop bringing shame to your family by defying her lot, defend Gloria. Stefan should give Gloria some respect. She's a member of his family too. Send Gloria to Velona. You persuade Gloria to go on a trip somewhere far away from Stefan. This will help them bury the hatchet or appeal to Nathan. Let's send Gloria to Velona. I think letting her live and be out of the house would be the best decision, but I don't know what Velona is. Separating the two would be the best decision in the long run. You take a conciliatory tone. You note that the tempers are running too high. Your siblings would benefit from spending some time apart. They need to cool off, then try to settle their differences. From what you hear, the town of Velona, in the southern part of the province, has an excellent resort with healing springs. What if Gloria took a vacation there for a month to improve her health and have some rest by the sea? Gloria shakes her head hesitantly. Gloria, are you trying to get rid of me, Davvon? So I won't be in your way? What am I supposed to do with some twins forsaken spa? You patiently explain to Gloria that she'll be able to enjoy some reading, find inspiration in contemplating the waves, and ponder on her future. And then when she comes back, she and Stefan will calmly discuss their issues. Finally, Gloria gives in. Stefan Brant, a trip to Velona will be costly. I'd like to know who will pay for it. Speaking first and foremost to your father, you argue that peace in the family is worth any expense. Robert Brant, the two of you should indeed spend some time away from each other. Let it be as you suggested, Davvon. Gloria, start packing. Stefan, please send a note to Velona and hire a carriage for your sister. Gloria reluctantly heads off to the coast. This trip forces the family to spend a hefty sum, but without the constant bickering of your brother and sister, the tension at home quickly dissolves. With no need to keep an eye on Gloria, Stefan devotes himself to Anazot's social life. Why am I reading in a voice? Gloria returns surprisingly serene. Say that 5 times fast. After a month of Velona, her temper has mellowed for a time. She is engrossed in her own affairs and does not draw her brother's ire. Wealth, -1, moderate means. Manipulation, +1, we are still naive. Eloquence, clear speech. I wish that transferred to me, like, as I sit in this chair so I can read clearly for you guys. The land dispute. It is the morning of a very sultry day, and you are back at the office. You are beginning to get used to the duties of your new profession. Father visits you on the job now and then to see your progress and provide advice, but by now he's confident you can handle the work on your own. Today is your first case, assigned by the prefect himself. From the comfort of your chair, you go through the facts and circumstances of the case. The matters seem simple at first, seeking some desperately needed financial gain. A noble from less than wealthy Avila family rented out a sizable portion of his estate to a well-off commoner by the name of Basil Jung. All the rent payments are in order, and there's plenty of time left before the lease is set to expire. But the commoner built a large dye works on the estate, and then El Avila suddenly filed a case to the prefecture to evict him. The rental agreement specifically states that the commoner Jung has the right to construct any building on the land. The noble landowner, however, thinks that he has the final say on any construction since the land belongs to him. Basil Jung, on the other hand, has refused to vacate the rented land since the term of the agreement has not expired. Both parties do appear at the prefecture to hear your decision. The litigant, Sir El Avila, enters first. He is an aging noble who dresses far too colorfully for his years. He walks into your office with confidence and sits in front of you. The next man to enter is Basil Jung, a heavy-set man with a thick beard, clothed in an old jacket and clutching a hat. He stands by your desk and bows to you. Sir El Avila does not hesitate to speak first. Gustav El Avila. Your Honor, I demand you drive the Commoner Jung from my land. His dye works is a noisy, nasty, ugly building, and I refuse to have it on my property. My family already had to endure the warehouses and their filthy workers working right by our estate, but this is simply beyond the pale. Either the court says the dye works must be demolished, or I, Gustav El Avila, will do it myself. You ask Sir El Avila to compose himself and tell the commoner to give his statement. Basil Jung gives his account, speaking in a deep, gruff bass. Basil Jung. Your Honor, it cost me all my money to build the dye works. The contract says it clear. I got the right to build anything on the land during my rental period. Sir Avila didn't say a word at first, but now he up and demands me to demolish it? My family will be ruined. That's not gonna happen, I say. Sir El Avila screams at him in return, outraged by what he calls his cunning trickery. The bearded Basil Jung disagrees again and again, his pudgy finger pointing at the clause in his agreement. It is noon already, the sun is hot, even the air itself seems to melt away. This is your first case ever. It is time to deliver your verdict. Terminate the rental agreement. I don't have enough diplomacy. And they really require a lot of diplomacy for this. And a manipulation. I need more diplomacy and manipulation. You propose a law that would grant noble landowners the right to terminate the rental agreements in court at any time. You speak with the commoner private and imply that some generosity might change your opinion upon the case. No, we're not going to demand that. You confirm that Basil Jung had the right to construct the dye works on the rented land. You terminate the rental agreement between the noble El Avila and the commoner Jung. I'm not siding with the nobility in this one. As much as I want to go Game of Thrones style on this and kind of work from the inside out, I feel like protecting the commoner's rights in this is the just thing to do, and that's what I'm going to do. You deliver your verdict. As the rental agreement clearly states, Basil Jung has the right to use the aforementioned land belonging to the El Avila family until the year 1150 and construct any buildings in the aforementioned land. Basil Jung's use of the land is not in violation of the agreement, and therefore he must not be evicted, and the dye works will remain. Any attempt to drive him off or demolish the building will constitute a breach of law. Gustav El Avila. How dare you? This is my own land, and I can do whatever I want with it. It is my right. I can rent it out, and I can take it back just the same. And your puny little papers mean nothing to me. If you refuse to resolve this peacefully, Your Honor, why, I'll just put the damn dye works to the torch. You have a response to that. If Jung's property should come to harm through El Avila's actions, the nobleman would provide recompense for all damages and pay a fine to the emperor. The law of the empire is the emperor's rule. Nobles and commoners alike must obey the law in equal measure. Your words are tactful, but unyielding. The nobleman has no chance, his face pale with rage. Sir El Avila spits out a goodbye through clenched teeth and walks away. Basil Jung. Thank you so much for your just verdict, Sir Brent. I never even hoped you would protect my rights after all. Now the dye works is gonna hit it big. The other judges soon learn of your verdict. With your very first case, you have caused quite a stir at the prefecture. Most judges would not have been dying to hear the commoner's statement, yet you defied noble privilege and enforced a lawful agreement against the nobleman, an ill omen for the other nobles. Wealth of Magra, +1. Affluence. Order, -1. Discontent. Career, -1. Justice, +1. Year 1139, peacetime, 21 years of age. A moment of respite. This event is a consequence of your previous actions. Conditions met. Unity equals 10. A moment of respite. Your work for the day is finally done. You hurry to the family home, where peace and tranquility dwell at last. Still, you have grown used to the idea that this peace could be disturbed at any moment. As you enter, Father walks down the stairs to greet you. He smiles happily and warmly. Robert Brant. Davvon, my dear son, you're spending so much time at work. Look, you can barely stand. You need some rest. Please stay at home with us for a while. Surely your work can wait. You've earned yourself a moment of respite. You consider his words for a moment and agree. Overjoyed, Father takes your hand and leads you into the sitting room. You spend several days resting in the family home, where your troubles are distant and your family is close. They tell you their news, you carefully share yours. You spend the evenings together on the porch, just like in the good old days, listening to Father's stories of your family's history, sharing laughter over the memories of childhood. It is late now. Cicadas buzz quietly in the garden. The windows of the bedrooms glow with warm light. You recline in a wicker chair with a glass of good wine. There is no place like home. We just need one more point for Stefan. And we got a lot of willpower. We're like almost maxed, I think. Yeah, we're maxed on willpower. We need to start making some smart decisions here. And this is the time to do it. This is where we start lining up our chess pieces there, guys. Year 1139, the Archduke and the Overseer. Two powerful lords have been struggling for power in Magra for over 2 years now. The new Overseer of the Providence, Gaius Tempest, cannot seem to rein in the obstinate spirit of Archduke Tarquinius Melanidas. Unwilling to accept that he is no longer the Overseer of Magra, the Archduke stubbornly continues to assert his right to rule the province. Most of the Magran gentry, who swore allegiance to him generations ago, remain loyal to him, even now. Gaius Tempest has publicly demanded that the Archduke recognize the Overseer's rule as legitimate. Gaius Tempest. I am the voice and the will of Emperor Uther II in the province of Magra, all lands, deeds, and titles notwithstanding. Archduke Melanidas must obey his sovereign's will and heed his decree. I hereby extend to the Archduke an offer of peace. Should the Archduke cease his insubordination, his lands, deeds, and titles shall remain his own. The Archduke's response to the Overseer was openly defiant. Archduke Melanidas. Since the days of yore, the land of Magra has belonged to the Melanidas dynasty. We are part of the empire and we are Emperor's loyal servants. However, our dynasty will not stand for such intrusion upon our lifeful rights and privileges. Never before has an archduke been stripped of his right to represent the emperor's rule in his own province. So do not forget, Sir Overseer, that the highest noble families of Magra has sworn fealty to me alone. Neither the archduke nor the overseer will relent, but both are too powerful to be readily disposed of. The bad blood between the two Archnians have festered for too long, and the common people have begun to pay the price for their strife. Stripped of the overseer's tax privileges, the Archduke Melanidas has decided to impose his own levy upon the citizens and villagers of Magra. The commanders are now forced to pay taxes twice, first to the overseer and then to the Archduke. This double burden is too much for the common people of Magra to bear. Many have refused the second tax outright as lawless measure, but the Imperial Legion, led by young Dorius Auden, is ruthless. Eagerly and without mercy, the Legion soldiers collect the Archduke's due in cities and villages alike. Both a Magra -1, Order -1, Power +1, struggle for power. Huh. The region is not doing well. A gift for the family. This last year has been an ordeal for your family. The pains taken to be ennobled by the sword, the close attention of the city aristocracy, the squabbles between Stefan and Gloria. Tonight, your preoccupied father has gathered the entire family around a table in the backyard. The sun is almost set and there is a soft breeze. But instead of a meal in the open air, you are going to attend a family meeting. In the middle of the table, you see an open gilded box. It is full of jewels. Robert Brant. Archduke Melanidas himself has bestowed upon this gift upon us. It is a surprise indeed. I thought you all had the right to know. Father unfolds a letter laying beside the box. Archduke Melanidas. Sir Robert Brant, I bestow this precious box upon you and your family as a symbol of the care with which I treat the people of my province. Pray accept this gift and remember with whom the loyalty of the true nobles of Magra lies. Archduke of Magra, Tarquinius of the Melanidas. The family stares in amazement at the jewels sparkling in the last rays of sunshine. Robert Brant. It's worth quite a fortune, but the Archduke is fully aware that I'm on the side of Prefect Elborn and oversee Gaius Tempest. Could he really expect our loyalty to be brought so brazenly? On the other hand, the Archduke is not demanding anything of us, and our family has borne a lot of expenses recently. Stefan Brant. Father, no one is forcing you to side with Melanidas. Who are we in comparison to the Archduke anyway? We must not anger him by refusing his gift. The jewels are certainly welcome. They are worthy of being shared with the best families of Anazat. They will pave our way to the nobility of the sword. Mother shakes her head glumly. Lydia Brent. Oh, Robert. But feeling this gift bodes ill. It may be an impertinence on my part, but I do not want our family to be indebted to the Archduke. Gloria. Certainly not. Accepting gifts from Melanidas, he's infamous for impressing the commanders and robbing villages blind with his taxes. Stefan Brant. This isn't your decision, Gloria. It's a matter of our family's honor and reputation. Nathan Brant. Please don't start bickering again. Let Davvon say what he thinks we should do with this gift. You are the center of attention now. Your vote will be the deciding factor. We either give the jewels to prominent nobles as gifts, you decline the gift, or sell all the jewels. Okay, so I feel like giving the jewels to prominent nobles as gifts would be a smart play to, we need +1 to Stefan, and we need +1 overall in order to do what I'm hoping to do. And I feel like declining the gift is only gonna, I mean, I'm already maxed with Lydia. Gloria is pretty close to max, if not maxed. Nathan's pretty close to max, if not maxed. I need to balance that with Stefan. I need to keep my air of a noble and make people think that I'm a noble while being ready to play my relationships from the inside. And those relationships might empower me to write the narrative the way I want. And this will help. We give the jewels to other noble families. You agree with Stefan. A gift from the Archduke is not to be refused. It would be better to use it for a more important goal, obtaining the nobility of the sword. You and Stefan will determine when and how to, and to whom the gifts will be given. Robert Brant. I'm inclined towards the same solution. Let it be so. I'll send a note to the Archduke expressing our humblest gratitude, but I'll point out that I don't mean to change sides. I'll still serve my prefect and my overseer. Stefan Brant. Be careful, father. The land of this house is not to be trifled with, but the Archduke will have nothing to reproach you with. Davvon and I will put the jewels to good use. You and Stefan spend the next couple of weeks arranging meetings and attending receptions and feasts. You discover that you are on par with your brother in your understanding of the nobility of Anazat, including their relations and their quirks. The generous gifts and the refined manners your brother and you display before the aristocrats allow your family to rise in their esteem. There is but one disadvantage. You do not have a single coin tucked away in the family treasury. So our reputation got a little bit better. Promising. Okay, so we got +1 in scheming. That I'm happy about, along with diplomacy. That I'm happy about. Now, if only we could get a +10 to manipulation. The power of the law. You've just completed your first year of service at the prefecture. Several days after your second year begins, there is a knock at the door. You look up from your paperwork and tell the visitor to come in. Sir Elburn's secretary slips inside quietly. The prefect has an important matter to discuss with you in his office. Augustine Elborn looks weary in age, but he greets you with his usual characteristic warmth. You take a seat in the comfortable chair across the room. Sorry. Sir Elborn asks the secretary to pour you and him some wine. Augustine Elborn. Sir Brant, good to see you. I hope the judge's trade is coming easily to you now. I must admit, I've been watching your first cases closely. You have already had to resolve a rather difficult land dispute between a commoner and a noble. We will see even more litigation of this kind in our province in the future. Now it's time for you to answer an important question. In this great dispute between the two estates, where will you stand as judge? Take a look around you. Life in the Empire as we know is changing. It is our duty as nobles and judges to make peace between all the estates on the basis of the law. However, the prefecture faces a great hindrance in its pursuit of this goal. Many nobles are still determined to abide only by the traditions of old, especially the Arcadians. For those nobles, the only law above them is the court of honor, where noble ranks and duels decide everything. They reject the jurisdiction of the prefecture and outright defy the newer laws and regulations of the empire. This is to say nothing of what happens when an Arcadian has a dispute with a human commoner. Some Arcadians would rather cut a human down then and there than waste time on what they see as pointless litigation, even though the law says that all the Emperor's subjects have the right to a fair and just trial. One of the most flagrant violators of the law is Dorius Otten, the commander of our province's military. You've encountered him before, haven't you? That Arcadian nobleman is a notorious duelist. Anyone who crosses his path risks insulting his honor. His sword has ended the lives of many human nobles, not to mention all the commoners who have been unlucky enough to run afoul of him when he was bored. Surely you realize, Brant, that we are the only ones who can protect those people. The low-born law forbids a commoner to arm himself. Even those who would rather defy their lot have no chance against Dorius Otten, one of the most skilled Arcadian swords masters. Otten cannot be allowed to commit murder with impunity. We have to stop him and all others who act as he does. Imperial law must prevail over their barbarous actions. But as of now, I have no authority to put Otten on trial. Our province still abides by the old traditions, and humans are powerless against the dynastic power of the Arcadian aristocracy. Putting an Arcadian on trial for his crimes would be unthinkable at best. We have worked gradually to change this, Brant. We need you as an ally. What we have to do now is strengthen the power of imperial law in Magra, so that eventually everyone will respect the law, from humble beggars to highborn Arcadians. We must show everyone that his law is not a noble instrument of oppression against the common folk. Like the divine law, imperial law must stand above all, with no regard for birth, rank, or title. This is why I've decided to address you today, Davvon Brant. Side with the law, side with your father and myself. Side with justice in every case always, no matter who stands in trial before you, be they lowly commoner or noble elite. With enough precedence, we will put an end to highborn tyranny and ensure that the law is respected throughout the province. But I must warn you, even here at the prefecture, I am not all-powerful. Many judges oppose my point of view. Not openly, at least not yet, but I am certain they will work against us in the shadows. Now, Brant, what is your answer? Are you ready to side with me and change our province for the better? Are you prepared to support me against the high-handed gentry and defend the common folk from the likes of Dorius Otten? Well, of course I'm going to side with you. The guy's a D-bag. The power of the law. You nod energetically, determined to support Elborn and bring nobles and Arcanians under the rule of Imperial law. You realize the risks, but for the future of the Empire and its subjects, you are willing to face them. You seal the promise with a handshake. The prefect leans back in his big chair and points to the glass full of wine. Augustine Elborn, I never doubted you, Brant. With your potential and youthful zeal, nothing will stop us. And now, a toast to the triumphs of law in Magra. Your glasses clink methodically. The prefect takes a sip, then puts the glass down to instruct you further. Augustine Elborn, remember to be cautious. Between the powerful nobles and many of the judges at the prefecture, there will be no shortage of enemies on this path. There will be times when I'll be unable to help you. My own position is too unstable as it is, so please do not draw too much of their ire. Letting their wrath reach you is the last thing I want. Last but not least, we mustn't be hasty. If we move too fast and enforce the law against the nobles too soon, they might take up their swords as they have before. We have to prevent an uprising and avert bloodshed. At all times be just, but also wise and alert. I'm glad to see you on the side of justice. I'm counting on you, and you can count on me in return, Davvon. May luck be with you in service to the Empire. You return to your office, your desk covered with endless paperwork as always. At first glance, nothing has changed, but now you realize the great and important cause working quietly behind your daily grind. Deep in thought, you sit at the desk once again. What fate awaits you in service to this cause? Relationships, +2 with Augustine Elborn. The promise. We have made the promise to Elborn. You gave Elborn a promise to support him in his fight against the tyranny of the nobility. And on that note, our hour is wrapping up. I'm going to go ahead and end the episode right there. A lot, I believe, has been accomplished. We've kind of created unity within the family. We've encountered our first year as the judge. We've sided with a commoner against a noble, which is drawing the ire of the other noble laws of those of the old way. We've kind of solidified ourselves a little bit in the nobility by giving away those jewels, and we made a promise to Elborn. I'm super excited to see if we can lay the groundwork to manipulate the events to work out in our order. The end game, we want to overthrow the lots and supply a new order for those that are less privileged. We want the commoners to have more of a chance and remove or at least reduce the distance between a noble and a commoner. On another note, I will be probably keeping these 2 one-hour segments throughout the rest of the peacetime. We are, what, about an hour in, and we've only accomplished probably 1/5 of what they say the peacetime is going to be. So I really do not intend on making these any longer, but with that, I'm hoping to make this a daily upload. So every day expect the next segment, and hopefully we'll be through the rest of this by the end of the week. I'm super excited to see if we can make things come out the way we want. Again, as always, if you guys did enjoy the content, please consider hitting that like and subscribe. It really does mean a lot to me. I do appreciate you all for coming through watch. Again, if anybody has any more recommendations for upcoming new releases in Steam, whether they be indie titles or AAA titles, please give me a heads up in the comments below. I will definitely check them out. I do have my eyes on an HP Lovecraft game that is coming out on the 23rd, which is like an investigatory game. I'm like a mystery game almost, based on a board game that I've never played. I have to read more into it, but I'm super excited to give that a try. And again, as always, appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Catch you guys in the next one. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace.
Want to get some music for this?
Nope.
How long will that go?
You said 30 seconds.
How long have I been going?
10.
Am I doing it right?
I have no idea. I'm not even
Is this
watching.
30 long?
No comment.